good is Dricus Du Plessis? Do you guys want to know the best way to find that out? And this might surprise you, but please allow me as your guy that's been in this the longest to find out how good a guy really is not actually by watching competition. That's how it will be measured. The octagon truly is the proving ground. But that's a measurement. It's not a reality of how good he is. What do I mean by that? Well, some guys don't move up the pound for pound list and they don't win over your hearts and minds as these complete fighters because you have always argued that they're not dynamic enough. Just by example, George St. Pierre couldn't do anything but take people down with doubles, and he was pretty good at that. But he could hold them there. This was a belief until about 2003. And then George ran into a great wrestler named Matt Hughes, who he had a hard time taking down, so he just kicked him in the head and knocked him out. But it wasn't until that moment when you found, oh, George can do other things. And then he goes right back to taking guys down until he runs into a national champion wrestler named Josh Koscheck. Well, remember that? There has never been an MMA fight controlled with a jab more than St. Pierre did that night, but that was a tool we didn't even know we had. Well, we didn't know he had it, not because he didn't have it, because he's got his plan A, and he's going to go use plan A until plan A doesn't work. And George was so good with plan A that he never showed us plan B, and I want you to understand that because that's where I'm arguing for you. The practice room is where you can really see, because the practice room is where he will work on things. Sometimes the coach will yell, hey, you're sparring, no takedowns. The coach will just yell that out. You're all gloved up. You're ready to spar. You're getting there for MMA. And the coach will just yell, no takedowns. But now you see, how's the guy do with his clinch work? How does his wall positioning do? How does he do? Where's his defense? Where's his punches and his kicks? It's one of these things where you can really see the skill. And I have a suspicion. I can't prove it. I will be able to. I can't do it right now. I have a suspicion that Dricus Du Plessis is the greatest fighter in the world. And I'm talking pound for pound. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm talking pound for pound. Now, I'm only as good as the information I have. And do you want to know who told me? I've got good authority that Dricus is the greatest fighter to ever live. I got great authority. I heard it from Dricus. Dricus is the one. He said, but every other claim that he's made, he's gone out and proven. A lot of people didn't think he was going to fight Chimaev, by the way. This is the fight, guys. I mean, I can feel this. This thing, from my perspective, and I work in this space, and I'm able to call it, this is the one. And this goes back. I mean, this fight was announced when the BMF was also announced. That was a huge deal in New Orleans. Dustin's final fight, Max is coming in, and the trilogy. I mean, this was a huge deal, but this was still the one. I mean, just for example, both venues were on sale at the same time. Tickets were higher for Dricus versus Chimaev. Just to use an example, they were more expensive. I got asked for a couple of tickets. And the one thing I didn't want to do was to tell the person who asked me for tickets, I don't actually have the power or the connections to make that happen. Because they called me thinking that I do. And I appreciated that they saw me. Like, yeah, I'll run in. I'll grab a couple from Dana later. I went online and bought the tickets so that I didn't have to fess up that I don't have tickets. $1,500 a piece. And I'm halfway up the building. And I bought them over a month ago. And that was the best I could do. So, I mean, I'm just sharing for you, like, this is the fight. You guys are coming in on this. We did a poll. You might find this interesting. And I will often do these behind your back. I will often do this under an alias, some kind of a burner account. I just want to know what the single most interesting thing of this card was for you. Who I should be talking about. Do you want to hear about Pico and his debut? Do you want to hear about these things? How big's Bobby Green still? I just kind of feel it out. It was overwhelming, and it was not the title fight. The title fight was your number 2 thing. The number 1 thing was Khamzat Chimaev. That was the biggest thing that you guys said that you want to hear about as you're going into this. So I want to know how good Dricus is. And I've never seen Dricus lose an element of fighting. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I've seen him lose rounds. He lost 2 rounds to Sean Strickland officially, and one of the judges, if you remember that first fight, it was a split decision. One judge thought that he lost 3 rounds. I've seen him lose rounds. I've even seen him lose exchanges. He lost a couple to Adesanya. But while he lost an exchange to Adesanya, same fight as Strickland, it was all stand-up. While he lost the exchange, he did not lose the kickboxing realm. By the end of the night, even though there was some give and take, Dricus was not out-punched by Izzy or Sean. He was not out-kicked by Izzy or Sean. He was not out-wrestled by Izzy or Sean. He was not out-grappled. He was not out-conditioned. Even the heart and the grit and how deep can I dig? How deep can I dig? You had that right. He didn't lose those battles. And there is something to be said for momentum. And success is a very dangerous thing to have. Because only one of 2 things will happen. You can use that success as a springboard to more success. Or you can get that success and go, I've done it. Whatever happens from here on out is house money. My goal has been achieved. I can always talk about that's a very real thing too. No matter how high you go, Olympic champions, world champions, Super Bowl champions, any way you want to do it. It's one of 2. They use that as a springboard, and it drives and it motivates them. And I will just tell you, as an athlete, I've had both. I've had both where I go, that was what I set out to do. And now I'm just going to try to sustain. And there's other times when that success and the attention and whatever it was, I got this vibe from you guys, whatever it was, I wanted more. It was a drug. I wanted more. And Dricus has definitely gone into the category of wanting more. However, Dricus wanted to be world champion, and he became world champion. But his motivation didn't change because he had a personal beef that was the nastiest beef ever. Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen goes down as the biggest rivalry in UFC history. I don't make these where they put out a list and they've done it 10 of these things. That's been unanimous. But my beef with Anderson was not as dirty. It was not as nasty and personal as Izzy, as a black man from Africa versus Dricus, a white man from Africa, arguing that the other one, because of the color of their skin, was not a true African. There has never been anything, quite frankly, in sport, not just this one, that I have ever witnessed that was as hot as that. So hot, the media wanted it, but they didn't want to touch it. They wanted to ask questions. They wanted to ask follow-up questions. They were happy for it to happen, and they were happy to give the quotes, and they were happy to get the clicks, but they just did not touch it. But I remind you of that because there's good reason. When I talk about success and it's a springboard or plateau, you ever jumped on a trampoline? If you double jump, it'll actually make you go down. If you jump the right way, it makes you go up. But it's very true with success, and it's only one of those 2. There's no way it stay the same. It sinks you, it helps you. Dricus became world champion, but he went up. He fought better in his last fight than he did against Strickland. He fought better second time with Strickland than he did the night that he won the championship, but he had that motivation. The belt was a byproduct. It wasn't what he wanted. It wasn't his fight. He wanted Izzy. Now the question is, does he want Chimaev? Right, how important is that to him? And from everything I've seen, it's real important to him. From everything I've seen, he has used this as a springboard to go forward, but I have been invited to his training session. I will come in and I will likely not say a single word. I won't bother the coaches or whatever he's doing. I likely just stay back. And we're going to document this. And he knows. And he knows we are then going to bring an assessment to you. He knows. I do not think very many world champions would give a guy access on fight week when he will be doing nothing but refining his specific game plan. And he is allowing a camera in the room. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting concept. And I'm going to have that. And I'm going to find out just how good is Dricus. And I'm going to come back. And I'm going to tell you.